Hi, my name is Michael Alvarez. This is my video debrief after interview. Just want to talk briefly about my Connecting to Community interview. So early on in the course, we were given two options. We could interview somebody that was an educator or involved in the K-12 field, or interview a participant in the Women's March. Immediately, I started asking all different people just so I could get a potential pool of people to interview, have a contingency plan just in case there was a scheduling conflict or just somebody was unavailable to interview. I ended up interviewing Gladys Pedroza. It's a great decision I made, and specifically our interview was about the Women's March of 2017. The Women's March of 2017 was the first Women's March, and she was actually a participant in that and at the Women's March in Washington, D.C., which was the largest and took place after the inauguration of the then 45th President of the United States. Interviewing Gladys was a great experience. She's really knowledgeable. She's astute in her observations. She's involved in the community. She's involved in politics, and she's involved in getting women, specifically women of color, Latinas, involved in politics and in the community. Now, I'm going to touch upon some things that didn't go so well or that could have been done better. The first thing, honestly, literally in the first minute of the interview, actually, my recording device I had on my laptop, I had everything set to go, had the room, soundproof, so to speak. Tried my best to have it as quiet as possible, and then I don't know what it was. I don't know if it made a sudden movement or what happened, but my recording device just slid across my laptop, and I knew it was just gonna make a sound, and I just had this sense of dread of oh my goodness, this is the beginning of the interview and there's already something. Then after the fact, there was that device sliding across just created static, and I could hear it, and it felt like honestly hours just trying to edit that out. It's much better than what it was, but just trying to get that out, and just that initial sense of dread and trying to continue the interview in my head, at least, because I felt like, oh my god, this is a rough start. So just trying to continue on after that. And then another thing that I noticed that I had, could do better, around the 7:37 mark of the interview, Ms. Pedroza had made a response, a very colorful response, and I honestly didn't catch it initially. It kind of just flew over my head. I really didn't get what she was saying, and then once I fully understood what she was saying, it was I had a nervous chuckle, and I did want to apologize about that. It was just kind of like a nervous defense mechanism. I didn't catch what she initially said. It flew over my head, and then when I realized it, what should have been a response in my head just kind of came out. And then another thing I noticed was I was going and a lot as a pause or as an interjection to pause for a lot of my questions when I was asking them, or just kind of like pausing to gather what I wanted to say or my thoughts. I would go a lot, and then I started counting it in my head and started being cognizant of that. And as the interview progressed, I did a better job, I would think, in cutting down on the use of those words, but still I would have some pauses throughout the interview in which I was gathering my thoughts, or just having pauses, trying to at least have those pauses instead of saying or out loud a lot. But aside from that, I really enjoyed the interview, had a great conversational tone with the interviewee narrator, in this case Gladys Pedroza. Got to talk a lot about the Women's March and politics overall, and her aspirations into entering into the legal field as an immigration attorney, and just having these different conversations with her, and just some things and perspectives that she opened my eyes to. One of the things was mansplaining. I'd heard of the term before, but I never really knew what it meant, and then when she explained it to me, it just opened my eyes, and just something as well that I feel like myself as a cisgendered male that I had to be cognizant about. And I really enjoyed the fact that we both share a common ethnic background, that we're both Caribbean, specifically Puerto Rican. We both have a family from the island and have ties to the island, and in parts of the interview, certain terms were used in Spanish, and we were able to understand and communicate that to each other, or at least have that understanding with each other, and just some of the different perspectives. And I really enjoyed this project, and just overall getting, or at least what I would like to think, getting better and better with each passing interview. I have a couple of my interviews actually uploaded to YouTube, and I would go back and listen to them and see what I did wrong, see what I did right, and then just go from there. And what I really enjoyed specifically about oral history was the fact that, or in this project, that we got to interact with the community. There's this criticism that, you know, history is written by the victors, or that it's only about quote unquote unimportant people. But the everyday history is where I feel that the field has a lot to offer, so to speak. And there's all this untapped history that really gives the thoughts and perspectives of different events and times, and the narratives and memories as well. And I was really glad that we're a part of this greater effort. And also, me personally, just growing as a historian as well, and interacting with people that are actually involved in the history, I felt was a great experience, and at times a really humbling experience. And I enjoyed it, and I feel like I've grown from it. If I've gone or in the process of this video, I also apologize about that. And full disclosure, with all due respect, and that's saying I'm about to say something disrespectful on myself, it's just something I had to grow with, because I feel like I just don't like the way I sound on video or audio. It doesn't matter format, MP3, WAV that I'm working with now, or anything. I just don't like the way I sound. But just to grow from that, and to not be so much as stuck. I wouldn't say stuck, but that you just have to move forward. There's always going to be mistakes. You know, we're human beings, we're imperfect creatures. But to go out and conduct these interviews, to interact with the community, to record history, to be a part of history. We're always going to be imperfect, but I feel as if our greater engagement, specifically with the community and with history of the community and the history of the people overall, it's just going to make for a better experience for all of us. Thank you.